name's Meghan Skarzynski. I'm one of the Hackworth Fellows in the Markkula Center for Applied Ethics. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming back to our campus Brian Wargo and Kevin Beals, the CEO and CFO of Nearbuy Systems. Graduating in the class of 1995, Brian and Kevin have 15 years of experience working in startups in the Silicon Valley. Today, we will be talking about managing relationships in a startup. First question, how do you guys balance your friend time and your work time?
That's an interesting one. So one of the philosophies when we started our first company was that, all of us independently are spending so much time working, and we spend more time with people at work than we actually did with the people that we really liked and cared about. So why can't we just flip that around, right? Why can't we bring our friends and people that we cared about and work together, because these are obviously smart people, competent people, we get along well, why can't we build something great together? And that's really been kind of the foundation of all our companies and all the founders that I've worked with. It's been people that have been really close to us. Now that being said, there's obviously times in a business that things are a business and you have to keep it on a professional level, and you have to be able to differentiate between the relationships that you have outside of work and what you're doing within work. But I think we've actually been able to do a good job, because if you can kind of use those relationships to kind of form the culture of your organization, when people come in, they kind of buy into the company now.
Right.
And I think one of the tricks to building a very successful organization is getting people to emotionally connect with it, that it's more than just a job, Especially with startups, you have to give so much. Everyone has to wear so many different hats and work so hard to have a 10% chance to be successful, that bond of caring, that it is something more important than just a paycheck, that these are relationships, these are people I care about. I need to be successful so my friends could be successful. That's really important.
Yeah, okay. When the company faces an ethical decision, what happens if you two disagree with each other?
Well, if we ever disagree, I usually just plot on the fact that I was a religious studies minor at Santa Clara University, proving that I am more ethical than Brian. So, and then it just goes with my decision. Usually, I don't think we necessarily, I think if we were to disagree just on any issue, but on an ethical decision or any issue, we'll hash it out until we kind of get to a resolution, and we'll bring in the other members of the organization. And we're a 6-person company right now, so we can easily have everyone in one room and kind of talk through any issues. And so we would probably just bring everyone in and kind of talk it out and come to a resolution. But I don't think on an ethical decision we probably wouldn't disagree on those, just because we kind of come from the same background, and we have the same moral beliefs of how we should treat each other and how we should treat the organization, and I really wouldn't see it happening.
Yeah, I think something too is like when you work with someone for a long time, you kind of get past those things. But we certainly, we do have disagreements, and I think a lot of it, we look, or at least the way I look at it is, okay, what's my role in the company? So I'm the CEO. My experience is in sales and marketing and kind of being the face of the organization and kind of being the person that's out there. Kevin, to me, he's my internal half, right? He's the guy, the operations, the human relationships, kind of keeping the trains running, the operations. So if, when we come in a situation and we're disagreeing, we do, a lot of times we'll go apart, we'll kind of focus, kind of think, rethink about it. Because if he disagrees with me, it's certainly, I might come in very confident about the decision or the choice I'm about to make, and if he disagrees, it's like, whoa, okay, maybe I need to think again about this, because it doesn't happen that often. And so we'll come back together, and then oftentimes it's, okay, who's the other subject matter expert that we can pull in if we need to break a tie, right? So who else would know the most about this? Who else could bring the most value to the table to kind of to make sure that we make the right decision? Because at the end of the day, if we're not buying into it at the same time, there's probably something wrong with it. This doesn't smell right. So it actually, I think it helps us as a company make better decisions through that process.
That's great that you guys can have a gut check with each other.
Like you're my wife or something.
Well, I was kind of thinking of you as my wife.
So I don't know. We could talk about it.
Okay, so tougher question now. Yeah. In the early phases of your company, I understand that you had to downsize, which involves in firing your mother.
Yeah, thanks for bringing this up.
That was a long time. That was it.
So, can you talk with us a little bit about the ethical challenges that posed to you?
Yeah, maybe I'll start with first is the broader question is working with a family member. I've seen other companies have been very successful with dealing with this. It definitely takes it up a notch from working with your friends, because particularly with the family it could be much higher level. In my case, my mom was always kind of my mentor. So the idea of the opportunity to work with my mom, that was an awesome experience, right? My mom had worked for HP. That was my first job out of college. In fact, I worked in the same office building that I remember running around as a kid that she had worked in.
Oh, wow.
So it was a really great experience. Now the troublesome side is in our case is that we had a downturn. We actually had to lay off, most of the company, and we ended up selling the assets. So there's never a more uncomfortable conversation than going to someone that you love, like your mom, and saying, hey, this is not working out, and believe me, it's not you, it's me, right? The reason that we're not being successful. So it was a huge burden, but it was an unbelievable learning experience. It was an unbelievable life experience. It's one of those things that, as terrible as it sounds, I wouldn't give up for anything. It was
Really?
Part about who makes me who I am today, what's helped me in my career to help make sure to make better decisions about what's going on. But talk about a way to get to know your parent in such a different way than you ever have been exposed to in your entire life. Incredible. How was it firing your mom?
I never had to fire my mom, so I don't know.
I'm guessing most of you won't have that opportunity either.
Not something on my list. Not something on my list. Well, thank you so much for coming back to campus today and joining us at the Markkula Center for Applied Ethics. We
Thank you
really
for having us. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.